Joining us now, David Myles, a pastor, a motivational speaker, an educator, a Minnesotan. We want to give you a heads up though. We're going to talk about some sensitive issues here. We're also going to talk about how we can all be encouraged. David Myles joining us now. I know you have quite the resume to talk about, but your story has become a really big part of encouraging others. So we've got some photos we want to start with of you as a little boy, and you said you grew up in North Dakota.
Yes, I grew up in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and you know, Susan, when people typically hear that, they kind of just like, and I have to remind them, yeah, you've never seen a chocolate Norwegian before. Now, I do like lefse, brown sugar, butter in the microwave, not Lutefisk. Sorry, I can't do that. Yeah. And as a kid growing up, my parents had got transferred from Bitburg, Germany to North Dakota. They then retired there. And one of the dynamics I grew up with also in a family with alcohol abuse. I had seizure disorders as a child, and just a number of different challenges that came along the way. And you know, the truth of the matter is that I should have been a statistic, but not the statistic that people think of. You see, I became a suicide survivor as a sophomore in high school. Okay. And I should have joined the 22% of teens last year who seriously considered suicide, 18% who made a plan, 10% who attempted, and 3% like myself who had attempted and required medical attention.
Just showing the broadness of that and how common it is for people. And you took that moment as a launching pad into encouraging others. Tell us how you were able to take that pain and put it into purpose.
Well, one of the things is beginning to see that in the lives of students, but not just students, our veterans, 22 a day we lose. Adults, moms, dads, all of those different things. And I have this saying that my adversity is the fertilizer to my future harvest. And you know, some of the
fertilizer, I like that.
So fertilizer, as you're going through adversity. And some of the best fertilizer is manure, and manure kind of is crappy, you know? And so, but again, what is the purpose of a harvest? The purpose of a harvest is feeding other people. And so part of my even being here today is to talk about adversity where people don't expect their professor, a minister, a motivational speaker, a former track star, to have that be part of their story. But it is a part of my story. And I want to remove the shame, fear, and guilt around this conversation because it's affecting all segments of society. And Susan, we're losing really wonderful neighbors around us every day.
Well, I think you're brave to talk about that, and I'm so glad you are bringing this up. I just want to ask your advice right now, because there's probably someone watching out there who is going through a hard time. We know the holidays, there's so many different reasons that people are down right now, whether it has to do with money, whether it has to do with loneliness, with grief. What are some words of encouragement for the people out there watching right now?
Well, one of the things sometimes is just keeping it real. You know, I had someone contact me the other day, and their board had actually released them as the CEO of their company. And as he told me that, I said, you know what, that sucks. I didn't say like, oh, here's this, sometimes things suck. But also to remember that your today is not your tomorrow, that your condition does not equal your conclusion, that delayed is not denied, and we want to help change the lenses through which people see themselves, their world, and transform both. Also, the last thing I'll say, I'm speaking on borrowed breaths because my locker mate, Lance Porter, took 10 seconds as a 15-year-old and sophomore year of high school to invite me to something. 10 seconds. That's the only reason why we're having that conversation.
And that's what made you feel seen. And just really changed your life. Someone seeing you and listening and encouraging.
A simple invitation, because we are made for community, common unity. And there's so much more beautiful things that join us together than separate us. And so I love speaking on that and consulting on that in conversations about culture, race, leadership, and the like. And I love speaking with students. So people can reach out at onedavidmiles.com. And I'd love to come and spend time with people, encourage their youth, talk to whoever, because I'd love to see 100,000 of our neighbors turn from suicide to flourishing.
Well, thank you so much for talking about this hard subject and for what you do for others, and the great reminder that we can be an encouragement as well to people who are going through a hard time. Thank you. David Myles with a Y, right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so
Susan.
much.